So if you clicked on this video, you probably want to write a book. You also probably clicked on this video because you don't know how to get started, because there has been something getting in your way every single time you think about sitting down to write that book. What is it that gets in the way? Why does it happen? Let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Kate. Welcome back to my channel where I talk about books, philosophy, writing, and pretty much whatever I want. I wrote a book over the past 2 or so years, and I am publishing it very soon. Be sure to follow me for more updates on my book, which is a contemporary romance. I'm very excited about it. Once the book is published, I will also have links to it in the description if you would like to check it out. So what is the number one reason that we don't write the books that we have in our head? Most people will never write their book because they believe that inspiration has to hit them in order to write. This is not true. I would go even a step further by saying, if you are waiting for inspiration to hit you in order to write, you don't actually want to write your book. And I can hear some people being like, well, what do you mean? No, I really do want to write it. You don't know what you're talking about. If you are saying you need inspiration to write your book, there's a part of you that does not want to actually write it. Writing a book is difficult. It takes time, it takes perseverance. Anyone can say they want to write a book, but actually doing it is the thing. The reason I decided to title this video the way I did is because this is the crux. This is the main reason why people will never get started, because they believe inspiration has to hit them and then the world will open up and the book will just spill out of them, as if there's some dam in their mind that needs to be broken down and then their creative genius can be expressed. Doesn't work like that. There's that quote that says success is 10% inspiration and 90% perspiration. If you really want to write a book, you must sit down and just start writing. We always have these sort of castles in the air, these hopes and dreams about how we think our book is going to be. Like, oh, it's going to be a New York Times bestseller, or I have this image in my head and I don't know how to get that down on paper. We have these provisos and things that we pile on top of ourselves that keep us from starting in the first place, because we think that if it's not perfect on the first try, why do anything at all? You have to learn to cut through the garbage. Anything you put down on the page, a first draft is always a first draft. You can come back and re-edit it. The point is to get everything out on the page so that you can get started, that can bring in momentum. It's like that thing of when an object is in motion, it will stay in motion until it is stopped. That's you. Once you start writing, you will keep writing. The interesting dichotomy about inspiration is that inspiration comes when you're already doing the thing. It's like, what do we do in order to fall asleep at night? We lie down and pretend like we're asleep until we fall asleep. If you want inspiration to hit you, and it will, you gotta start writing. You will be so surprised. You start writing and then all of a sudden, oh, what about this? And then you start writing that down, and then it takes off. Then that's when the things you want start to happen. But sitting around and waiting for the inspiration to come probably only happens about 10% of the time. So I hear you though. You're saying, but Kate, it's really difficult for me to sit down and actually write the thing. Well, then I would posit 2 different things. 1, you don't actually want to write the book. That's an important question you have to ask yourself. Why do I want to write this book? Knowing the why, knowing your motivation is incredibly important to getting something done. The second thing I would say is there are ways to stimulate being inspired in order to write, which we will get into in a moment. But let's go back to this first point for a second. If you have a powerful motivation for why you want to write something that makes you feel charged up, excited, whatever emotion you have. It could even be spite, by the way. It doesn't have to be a positive emotion. That is going to carry you through the entire process, because as somebody who has written a book, it is a long process where there are many days you want to give up, you want to throw what you've made away, and you never want to look at your writing ever again. Having that connection to what is your potent motivation to do it will help carry you through the entire thing until the end. For example, for me, one of the reasons I wrote my book was because I wanted to show someone that I could do it. You know what? You're wrong about me. I'm going to do it. I have like 3 or 4 other motivations that went into why I wrote it, but that one was a really strong one. So if you find that you are unable to just sit down and start writing, Ask yourself, what is your motivation? Find out what that is, and that will help you tremendously. Now let's get into the ways that you can stimulate inspiration for yourself if that is something that you just can't divorce yourself from the idea that you need inspiration to write. All of these ways are somewhat tied to my own personal experience, so if there are any others that you think of, please leave them down in the comments for everybody else. People want to act like they have to write something original. And originality is not necessarily something that I really believe exists. I think that the only thing that is original is the way you express something. Every story has already been told, but what hasn't been told is the way you're going to tell it. So don't get too attached to originality. So how this ties into how to get inspiration is read a lot of books by authors you love. What you will find is you'll start to mimic the way that they write. And that can sometimes open something up in your head where you're like, okay, I like how I wrote that there. Let's keep exploring that. The second thing I would do is set up an environment that is conducive to inspiration. When I was writing my book, I would put on an ambiance, I would light a candle, I would have a glass of wine, I would set everything up so that everything felt like it was cozy, atmospheric, and that helped me to write more. It helped me feel a certain way so that I could really get into the vibe of whatever scene that I was writing. The third thing I would say is if you are stuck, go for a walk. Moving forward in some way, you're literally moving forward. You'd be surprised how inspiration can just come into your head at that point. The fourth thing I would do is throughout the day, if you have random sentences or images or turns of phrase that come to your head, write them down. Use your notes app or a journal, whatever it is. Keep a log of all these things because you could find that at some point they fit together like a puzzle piece. That was a huge way I wrote my book, was that I had these specific scenes in mind and I didn't necessarily know how they would link up, or I had these words that set off whole scenes in my head, and eventually they all fit together because I just kept writing. So if you need inspiration, I hope that those tips were helpful. However, main thing, and I know it's difficult, people need to get over is thinking that inspiration is going to hit them like a bus out of nowhere and they're going to be able to all of a sudden write their grand magnum opus. I don't say this to be mean, but anything that you write in the beginning is probably not going to be up to whatever standard you have for yourself. It takes time, it takes practice. You wouldn't just start playing for the San Diego Orchestra when you haven't picked up an instrument your entire life. Get in a habit of writing, whether that's in your journal or in your notes app or someplace. Get used to the act of writing. Just putting a few words down on a piece of paper can already trigger that response to write more. Like I said earlier, get started and then you'll be surprised to see that the thing that you've been waiting for this entire time, the inspiration, will come to you. You can write a book. Believe me, I know you can. If I can do it, you can do it. We all can do it. But sometimes it just takes two things. Find what works for you and just do it. Get started. So let this video be a sign. Go write a sentence. Do something that shows yourself, the universe, the world, whatever you want to call it, that you are going to write this book. And then let it unfold. I want to thank you so much for watching. I actually hit my goal. I have over 1,000 subscribers on this channel now, and I just want to say thank you so much. I'm so excited about that. That just goes to show that, like, do the thing. I started posting videos much more often. I started promoting things on other social media sites, and it happened. It's the same thing with writing a book. You just gotta start somewhere. So thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know down below what books you're writing, or if you want to write a book, anything that's going on with you, I would love to know. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Oh my god, this is awesome. Okay, sorry. I hope this video was helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.